Genius of rock and roll. Mad genius of rock and roll.
Well, hello and welcome to the Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris. Thank you for joining me today, Chris Mallard. That's me. My fellow host, Rion Cultastic and Darante Lamar are here, ready to go do that voodoo that we do so well. It's only Tuesday. Feels. It's already been a long week. I don't know about you. I don't know about y'all, but it's already been a long week. We'll talk about some of that stuff. Today, the topic of the show is Christians are going to destroy democracy in the U.S. I know. It's really one of those things. The question of the day is similar. What is the most hypocritical things you've seen Christians do? Very interesting topic today, more serious, I guess, than normal. But we'll get to it. We'll make something funny out of it. I don't know. We'll be back. In honor of Donald Trump, though, we're going to go with our fascism commercial.
Today's world is confusing, and there's too much information for one person to make sense of it all. Which credit card should I pay off first? Is non-fat milk good for me? Who should I vote for? Let's face it, if you can't figure out high-interest milk, then how can you be expected to make political decisions that influence a country of over 325 million people? Well, that's why there's fascism. Fascism is the political, social, and economic system for today's world. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines fascism as a political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts a nation, and often race, above the individual, and that stands for a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, severe economic and social regimentation, and forcible suppression of the opposition. Choose this ideology and life will be easy. Did you ever look at someone who uses really big words and think, I wish those libs would just disappear? Well, under fascism, your dreams can come true. Under fascism, you won't have to worry about the pesky little things like brown people or atheists, or who in your country is entitled to basic human rights and who is not. Hint, hint, the answer is nobody. Yes, friends, this truly is the final solution you've been looking for. And if you're concerned if this form of authoritarianism will be up to your high standards, don't worry. American fascism will be the best fascism in the world because it's been endorsed by Jesus. So go out and destroy freedom and democracy by getting fascism today. Paid for by the Fascio-Conservative Party, formerly known as the GOP.
And all right, we are back and ready for the show. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week so far. Let me bring on the rest of the crew here. Good morning, everyone. There's Darante Lamar. Oh, purple, rocking the purple today. There
Morning.
You go. Ooh. Vikings, purple.
Good morning.
Ooh.
I like it.
I know. I'm a Vikings fan. Good morning. Hi, Ryan. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm chugging along.
So I'm getting
How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. That is a wonderful green screen you've got there.
Yeah,
it looks fantastic.
It looks like I'm like actually in my office. Mm-hmm.
Right, it does. It does.
That's
what
nice.
I really thought too.
Really in
Darante,
though.
that's cool. That's cool. You know, they can be a pain in the butte. And you know,
yes.
we actually had a plan for them and it never really came to fruition. So sadly, that's my fault. But yours looks awesome. Everything you do, it doesn't matter if you have a green screen or not. The only thing we're missing, and I feel it from the people already, the only thing we're missing is Pickles.
Pickles.
Oh, Pickles is there. Okay.
No. Stop licking that. No. She had her teeth cleaned, so she went under, and she has like a little patch where they, put the fluid in, the IV, and she keeps licking that spot, and now it's sore. It was fine, but now she's licked it sore. So I'm gonna have to wrap it or something.
Gotcha.
Poor Pickles.
Yeah,
Poor Pickles.
You gotta stop doing that. So if you hear me, just like, hey, that's why.
Normally when people are saying quit licking that, they're talking to me.
Not today. It won't be you.
Not today. Not today. Good morning, Obi Atheist, the Shaking Fist. Why? Because Webro, Evan Sachs, YouTuber Grudge. I think Simply Secular Dave even snuck in here. Wes is here. Where you been, Wes? You been hiding? Well, yeah, Wes is back. The Hard Determinist is here. Good morning, Hard Determinist. Pickles needs the cone of shame, possibly.
I know.
Yeah. I don't know what the cone would she be able to reach it with the cone of shame though?
I think the last cone of shame that we had for when she got fixed, she ended up finding her way out of that. Don't ask me
wow.
how, but she figured out how to do that. So I don't know. I'd have to get a new one, I guess, if I did that.
Good morning, Chick Magnate. Rainbow Ash. Chick Magnate is here. Thank you for joining us this morning. Brent A. Good morning. Wow, everybody's just flooding in. Don't anybody checking the doors? Former to free XJW. Hey, good to have you back this morning. Nice to see you. Miss Non Sequiturs is here, cheering for both Pickles and the Purple.
Yay.
I know. So good morning, everyone. I hope you've all had a good week so far. In the last 6 days, according to Simply Secular Dave, I was on gangs that moved over 1 million pounds of steel pipe and I-beam off the ships at our ports. I'm a little tired-ish.
Oh, that'll do it.
So what kind of gang signs do you know? Down. I'm trying to be appropriate.
A lot.
So good morning, everyone. Pity and cone, yeah. Oh, one of those donuts might do the thing, yeah. What was wrong with her fangs?
What?
Yeah. What was wrong with Pickle's fangs?
She just needed cleaning. She had some because she was a rescue when we got her. And we should have done it when we first got her, but we didn't. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, everything's good. She didn't have no issues whatsoever, no cavities or whatever. So, as long as we take care of them from here on out, she'll be good.
Beautiful.
You know, we took Sadie and Jack to the vet Saturday. I don't know. It was one of those days. We took them. Yesterday, damn it, it was yesterday. Anyway, we took the dogs to the vet, and Sadie is perfect on weight. Jack is perfect on weight, and they're both perfectly healthy and doing fantastic. And the evil one was just dancing because she feeds them like custom food, you know. And she's kind of been working their meals, you know, to perfection. Oh my goodness! And she was when the vet came back and was with the good news. She was just. It's very difficult to live with her. But, you know, I mean, look at this face. Who can deny that this face, it gets fed by a beautiful woman twice a day, vegetables and chicken.
Yay.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
I'll give you whatever you want.
That's right. Good boy. He's just chilling in with Papa this morning. Rainbow Ash, good morning. Simply Secular Dave. See,
Good morning.
Here. Good morning. And Bomb Poppy. Nice to have you. You want down, buddy? Okay, you can get down. He likes that. I've got a tripod with a light over here, and there's somehow a blanket ended up under the tripod. I don't know. And now he lays on the blanket under the tripod. It's terribly cute. Yeah.
Oh, that is too cute.
He does. Actually, it's kind of cute. So let me catch up on stuff here. I do have a poll. We did talk about it. The topic of the day is Christianity going to, you know, destroy democracy in the United States? It would appear as though Christianity is being used by the right wing, far right, MAGA right to overthrow our democratic republic. Some people like to say it's not a democracy, it's a republic. Either way, it doesn't matter what it is. Whatever it was, it's under attack.
Right.
And they're using Christians to do it.
Exactly.
So, that's kind of the topic. And let me post a link to the poll. And if Vic may have already done that. Good morning, Vic. Let me go here, copy. Ba-dum-bum-bum. And here's our poll. The poll is, what is the most hypocritical thing you've seen Christians do? And the options I listed, you know, because I'm a simpleton, you know, preach love, spew hate, right? Okay. Condemn divorce, get divorced.
Yeah.
Demand religious freedom, but only for Christians. And then there's options. And I've had a person arguing with me in the chat that where is divorce condoned or condemned? Where's divorce condemned? I'm like, oh, well, let me go get you the churches that condemn, you know. And it doesn't really matter. I mean, if somewhere in the Old Testament, one place Moses says you can get divorced and somebody else she says none of that matters. Doesn't matter. The question is, what's the most hypocritical things you've seen Christians do? Condemn divorce.
Yep.
Do Christians, some Christians, not condemn divorce? Absolutely they do. So I went and got this guy a list of churches. ChatGPT can give you all kinds of stuff. And here, give me a list of churches. Gave him a whole list of these churches going way back, including the Catholic Church, which goes all the way back, which, condemn divorce. And rather than going, oh, yeah, I guess a lot of Christians actually do condemn divorce. He's not, oh, no, the Bible says this. He's going to argue with me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Man, these people are ignorant.
they
They're
do.
just so ignorant.
Ignorance is not bliss.
It is not. Well, it may be for some.
I guess.
Yeah. But not for those around that ignorant person.
Right. Not for
Or who
the-
have to
deal
deal.
with
That's
them.
right. That's right. Get rich is the most unchristian thing there is. Why? I don't know. We've been kind of debating on that lately. If you want to be Christ-like,
Yeah.
okay. Now I've got some echo here. Let me see if I can fix it. It's me. It's on my end somewhere.
I
guess
feel like
everybody's-
I don't know if I'm getting sick because Hubs is sick, but I feel like I can't hear you well today. And I don't know if it's just because I can't hear well or if you're quieter.
Let me check. It may be my stuff, but I feel like let me see here.
It honestly might be me. That's why I didn't say anything.
Might be you.
But then she said that, I was like, well, maybe it isn't me.
My microphone, my output says it's all the way. Let me go here though and see what the hell is going on. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Right, there we go.
How
Boop,
did you hear me?
boop, 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 boop. Oh, it did turn me down. What a bitch.
Did it? I wasn't crazy.
It did. I didn't say that.
Oh,
I don't want to be responsible for putting that thought in your head, or anybody in the public going, Chris said she wasn't
wait.
crazy. No.
it all of a sudden got quiet again. Am I?
What?
All right, yeah, I'll get it here. Also use. Let's go. Boop, boop, boop. Is currently in use. Okay. Boop. There we go. No.
Uh-oh.
That sounded
Hear
better.
me, heathens and wizards and. Okay, cool.
La Mancha?
Yes. La Mancha. I love me some La Mancha.
I thought that's
I'm
what
from.
it was.
Yeah, I can't help myself. It's one of those things. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It's just one of those things.
I just hated
But I got-
performing it in school. I hated performing it. Oh, man.
I understand. Yeah, I get it. Let's see here. Okay, so hopefully everything is better. I think everything's better. For some reason, I'm just hearing a lot of noise. I'll work on it later, perhaps on the show. It's something is amiss. Deviant Outcast. It's super confusing. Let's see. We're all in the, oh yeah, we're all in the crazy here. Are you hearing other voices? That's a tricky answer.
It's not tricky.
Matter of-
I got a lot of them up here, man. I got a lot of them.
Adrian McCurry just subscribed. Good morning, Adrian McCurry. Thank you for subscribing to the
Good
channel.
morning.
We'll know what you think here in just a few seconds. Hopefully it's good. Yeah. Okay, so as according to my poll so far, we've got preach, spew, love, and hate is in the lead.
Ooh.
Demand religious freedom, but only for Christians is coming in second, oddly. And, this is one of those that's got a lot of respondents. We got 22 comments. Many of them. Oh, yeah, we were talking about being Christ-like. So here's the deal about being Christ-like and giving or getting or receiving money. This is my interpretation of the deal. If you are rich and you're not Jesus, you're supposed to give your money to the poor. If you're poor and you're not Jesus, you're supposed to give your money to Jesus. Right?
Nice little,
To the
Basically,
church.
it's funnel. It's
Yeah.
funnel. You're always back
Yes.
to Jesus.
Exactly correct. So if you're trying to be Christ-like,
Wait, is that? Did somebody
Then you're not
create, like,
trying
a
to be
Venn
poor.
diagram about that? Because that would actually be pretty hilarious.
Yeah. And and he says, because Jesus even says, when you've done this unto the least of these, you've done this unto me. And that's because when you give it to them, he's just making them bring it back and give it right back to him.
That's right.
Come back to dad.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a circle, and all that coin goes back to who? Jesus.
That's
Again,
right.
As long as you're not Jesus, but if you are Jesus, then the money goes to you. And therefore, those people like Joel Osteen are indeed being quite Christ-like. They are, in fact, more Christ-like than the people giving the money and doing the deeds that Jesus said to do.
Man.
I think it seems like the talking the talk and the walking the walk are a little different.
Yeah.
I guess it would be a flow chart. It would be a flow chart, not a
It
Zen
would be a
deck, 'cause
flow
it doesn't
chart.
go. It's not a complete circle, but it would flow from the rich to the poor. To
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Jesus tells the rich to give unto the poor. Give your shit away to the poor. He tells the poor to give their shit to him.
Dang.
And I didn't even put those two together until Darante. We were just kind of casually bouncing that around one day, and then Darante's like, yeah. And then Jesus tells the poor to give it to him. And I was like, oh, snap. The circle of coin straight to Jesus.
Oh, man.
Good morning,
guy.
Peter. I know. I know. And somebody said he wasn't. I got comments. We get comments. You know how we are. We get comments. Somebody left a comment stating that he was not a scammer.
Wait, what?
This sounded like a scam to me.
This is pretty scamish.
I'm not a
Pretty
scammer.
scamish.
I mean, leaving and then saying you're going to be back in 3 days and then like not showing up again. And I'm almost positive he took the money with him, like at that moment.
Yes.
Because mind you, he's been holding on to this money ever since he was a baby, and Judas has it in the treasury, and you never hear about the money after he leaves. And so
Maybe he dipped out and then took off to vacation in Asia, but they just they told people, no, he's going over there to preach the word. And he's over there like on the beach chilling with a drink.
That's right. That's right. Where all the bitches are.
that's it. Oh,
You know how
man.
beaches. Where all the beaches are.
And that's a good swindle, Jesus. What a hustle.
Heck yeah.
It really is. Jesus.
What a hustle,
Knock
man.
it. Just saying, it works. I can't knock it.
Oh,
OG
man.
hustler.
It has been lining the pockets of religious leaders
Yep.
for thousands of years. I mean,
Indeed.
and of course, the song we always sing is how it didn't start with Jesus. It goes way before Jesus. Even the Old Testament's like,
that's right.
bring me your chites
Bring them to me.
and your thighs, and
Your
give your best.
thighs.
Your goats.
Give me the best.
Give me the
Especially
best.
the sexy one. I mean, the best ones.
I mean, of course, that benefited the people at the temple, right? The ones who got to eat the stuff,
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
They were,
man.
they were just picky. That's all it was. It had nothing to do with God.
Nope.
That's right.
We like the chicken breast, please. White meat over here. Thank you. Y'all
God
keep
knows
bringing these
white
legs.
You guys get to keep the gizzards and the beaks.
Yeah.
Keep the neck.
Good morning, Scott Scherer. And Jesus, money is kept in the Vatican Bank.
Vatican Bank, man.
The Vatican Bank. Vatican
you go.
got more money than God. Wait, the Vatican
mean-
is God. I guess the Vatican would be God's bank.
Right? Yeah. The Pope is supposed to be the vicar of Christ. He's the very representative of Christ on the earth.
There you go. There you
It's a
go.
powerful role, man.
It is.
Damn.
It takes it out of you. Have you seen it? Hail Doug and praise Sharon. Yes.
Praise
Oh
be.
yeah, David Attenborough. Well, I don't know what's going on in the chat, but shit's getting real in there when David Attenborough's coming out. I mean,
Yeah.
sir, David Mr. Attenborough, sir, if you're watching, I apologize. Miss Non Sequitur, everyone knows that Jesus died. He took luxury vacation to ancient America. After he died, he took I got to tell you, I was under the impression for the longest of time
No, what?
that in the years between when Jesus disappeared, I don't remember how long it was, like 20 years or whatever, from whenever he's, that time he was gone. He was going around the world ministering to like Native Americans and doing
yeah.
all this other business. I heard that's what he was doing. Yeah,
There's some sects that believe that.
I do know that people believe it. I'm just surprised. I mean, aren't the Mormons? Don't they believe that a bunch of Israelites, or I don't know if they thought the Hebrews are the Israelites, or they have even delineate between the two, but came over in like weird boats or submarines or something.
Yes.
Turtle Island.
Yes, indeed.
But they did use a lot of slick words to the indigenous people. I don't know that they enslaved them per se, probably, but I know that they tricked them to get their land and stuff. And they're like, this book is about you. This book is about you. We have the truth.
Wow.
Experts.
Lots of that.
Yeah.
Lots of it.
The Shaken Fist says he is Lord and Savior and shows us the beauty of the world and its contents. He teaches us to respect and love those that we share the world with. And then there's a big laughy smiley face. Sarcasm. I think it's sex. Oh, no.
Is that who he's talking about?
I think he was being sarcastic. Or they were being sarcastic. Yes. I could be wrong. David Attenborough, though. I get that. Joe Pesci's my personal favorite. My personal savior. Joe, if you're watching, man. I did steal that from whoever started the whole Joe Pesci is God thing. But once I heard it, it made so much sense to me that clearly it must be true. Right? I mean, Joe was speaking to me through that person.
Yeah.
Of course.
I felt him touch my soul. I think it was my soul. I'm not sure what it was.
Something tingled.
Something tingled. Prostate. I'm not sure. Giles, good morning. How are you doing? I hope you're having a great day. Ready for sinning safely this week already.
Sinning safely.
Giles lost their salivation.
Oh, I do that on purpose. Good morning, Brand Animations. The context of the text says that what was praised wasn't the giving up the money alone, but the intention of the woman and her confidence on God's providence. Yeah, that's what they want you to think.
Right?
Yeah, it's a challenge to you to prove. It's not just the money, it's to prove.
Test.
It's a test, of course.
I love when people say the context of the text while ignoring the actual text. No. I know she gives her money away and never gets it back, and he praises her for giving it away, but that's not the point. Sure, it's not.
It's her loyalty. It's her loyalty. Now you do the same. All of you do the same. That's what
I know he said he was coming back in 3 days. I know he said that he was coming right back before any of the disciples died, and he actually didn't. But that's not the actual point. Sure, guy.
That's not the actual.
Sure, little fella.
Was an investor, and he got all that money, and he was like, "I'm gonna go invest it," and then he just took off.
That's right. That's right.
Oh no! He's the Holy One. He went and invested it in like Yahoo.
Man.
Yahoo.
You got to think about it. These are the people who believe that Jesus was a sacrifice, even though he had to be betrayed and arrested. Like you don't have to betray somebody who is a willing sacrifice. If I am a willing sacrifice, you do not have to betray me, nor do you have to arrest me. You don't even have to put me on the cross. I just climb my own ass up there and pierce myself. I'm God. I can do it. Hey, y'all, I'm about to sacrifice myself for the world. Hey, but I guess that's just too much of a trick for God to do, huh?
I know. If you look up like the definition of a Roman execution and the definition of a Jewish sacrifice, and you were to look at those two things, Jesus falls into one of those two categories and only one.
One of these things was not like the other.
Yeah. And the fact that Darante says it's not just that one was done by the Romans, it was that Jesus even had to be betrayed and captured, not because he was like at home chilling, because he was fucking hiding in the garden.
He was hiding, yes.
He was hiding in the Garden of Gethsemane. He was not chilling up there waiting.
Oh, man.
That's why he was in the garden, is because he thought they were going to catch him.
Oh, man.
If he didn't sacrifice himself, then surely it must have been it couldn't have been the disciples. They put up a fight. Right. It wasn't them, wasn't Mary Magdalene. It couldn't have been them. Obviously it was the Jews who turned him over to Pilate. No, it wasn't the Jews who turned him over to Pilate, because they didn't actually accept him as their Messiah. Also, Jesus said they know not what they do. If they were sacrificing him for the souls of all of mankind, he would not have said, Lord, forgive them for they know not what they do. They wouldn't have been doing something wrong. They would have been doing something right. All this, I know, guys, you're going to hate this. Christians in the chat, there's a couple of them. You're going to hate this. Logic and reason applied to your faith.
Right.
What?
It breaks down. I know. Oh, I know.
Like, why would God need to forgive them for the sacrifice? The point of the sacrifice is for forgiveness. That's the whole point of the sacrifice. Is to get that's right. Good sacrifice. Thank you.
Yes. Good job.
And then the
way to slay the lamb.
And then make them do something horrific to earn that sacrifice.
Yes.
You know, I mean, that's just,
come on now.
You know, in Jewish tradition, by the way, you didn't give your worst beat up, shit treated goat. You didn't take the goat. The guy didn't show up at the altar with the goat and it was all fucked up with like beatings and stuff like that. No, they brought their best prime goat. It was wonderful. They took care of it. It was their bet. And Jesus was not taken care of. He was beaten and all this other stuff.
It's the story doesn't make sense, man.
Now, who was it, if I may, who was it that pierced Jesus's side with the spear?
It was a Roman centurion.
Roman dude, right?
Right. I don't remember his name. So technically,
did he have a name?
Oh, I'm sure he did.
I don't think he's named in the gospel.
I guess that's what I meant. Yeah, that's what you meant. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm
sure his parents called him something.
They said called him something. Hey, guy who's going to kill Jesus one day. Come on.
Jesus Slayer.
That's what they called him.
Prophet Slayer.
Oh man.
Let's see if the chat knows.
Longinus.
Called Longinus.
I like that. I feel like it's a joke.
It would be because of the spear,
right?
If it was a sword, I guess he'd have been Shortigus. Anyway, technically, if that person existed and was real, that's the person that killed Jesus Christ.
That's right.
Not the crucifixion. The crucifixion was just a matter of torture beforehand. Am I right? Yeah, it was just a torture before. The actual who did the slaying of, who put him beyond the veil, that would be Longinus and his buddy Lagitus.
I'd watch that story.
I would too. It'd probably be a love story.
I could see that.
Yeah, so
that's not a name. That's so dumb. His name comes from the word lance. See, that's why they just be making shit up.
Truth.
Like, y'all don't even try.
Mythologizing, man. The whole, like, it's all, like, it's, man.
The guy who killed Jesus, his name's going to be Lance. Get it?
Sir Lancelot.
Essentially, though, they don't know who did it. It's just the guy who stuck him with the sword, with the lance. Got it. Let's just leave it. All right, but still, if that person were ever, that's the guy. Otherwise, Jesus would have been left up on the cross to rot until he was no longer rotting.
Yep.
Right. So, allegedly, the reason why they did that was to make sure he was no longer with us. That way, they could pull him off the thing. Because if they pulled him off the thing before he was no longer with us, then he wasn't, not the prophecy, but the punishment was no longer fulfilled. He had to die upon the cross. So they stick him. That's the guy. That's the dude.
Man.
Not Pilate, not the Jews. There was no. I didn't hear him described as a Jewish rabbi. Did anybody? Was he a Jewish rabbi of the Leviticus sect, able to perform sacrifices? No, I don't think so. No, he's a Roman soldier. Jesus was not sacrificed.
He's not a sacrifice. He was murdered. He was executed. He was a criminal, and he got treated like criminals get treated when in Rome. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. We have a many people. When in Rome, don't claim to be a king.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Dummy. Like, come on,
Right? Like, don't
Aren't
do
you
that.
perfect. Don't you know better? God dang.
Maybe that's what they mean by do as the Romans do, right? Otherwise, you're going to end up on a cross somewhere, and people are going to. Yeah. We have a new face in the chat. Marshall Barachile of the Black Templars says, I would be more worried about Sharia law than Christian fundamentalists, my friend. Man, we get that a lot, dude. I get it in one of my own videos this morning. I don't care about that. I mean, I do. Trust me. You got to trust me. I'm going to make this brief because I'm weary of it, to be honest. They're not imposing their shit on me right now. I got to fight. I'm in a room and somebody is putting their boot on my throat right now. I'm not going to sit in this room and go, hey, you know what? Down the road, across the river, in some other lake, somebody else in some different religion is oppressing some freaking buddy else. No, there's a boot on my freaking throat right now. It's called Christianity. Shut the fuck up and go away with your Islam hating bullshit. I'm not an Islam fan either, but right now it's not up in my grill. It's not in the Supreme Court. It's not being forced on my children in the schools. It's not overthrowing our government with the MAGA right-wing bullshit. So go the fuck somewhere else with this anti-Muslim bullshit.
Doop, 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 doop.
Actually, go follow people who do
that. Yeah, like
and they need your support because
That's
they
it.
get a lot of hate. So, quite frankly,
That
you
is
really
true.
should be over there supporting them.
But that's why I always say people like this, they're not being honest. They're not being genuine. They're not being sincere. If you were really concerned about the rise of Islam, if you were concerned about it, you'd be out there supporting all of those Muslim apostates who desperately need your support. Instead, you're in a channel where we are former Christians and you're like, this is how childish you're being. You're saying, hey, these people are having a conversation, but I have another conversation in my head and I want them to be having that conversation now. Instead of being smart enough to go where people are actually having that conversation.
Right.
Come on, man. Be smart.
Truth.
Be smart.
But there's also a dishonesty about it. They don't really care about that subject. The deal is I feel the people who are here complaining about Islam are actually just Christians, and they're going, wow, they just don't, stop attacking my religion. Go go attack this religion. Why don't you care about those guys? They're bad. Because your ass is the one opposing me, oppressing me right now, not those other people. So they can carry their ignorant bullshit somewhere else. I really, I've been fighting with that dude in the chat this morning. I'm like, dude, not in the chat, the comments, that one thing. The ignorance is just astounding with these people. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just kind of going off. Maybe I'm just being hypersensitive to the question, because that does happen.
Man.
But let's see what I don't see a response yet from the individual. Brand Animation says, I love the scarecrow in here. Okay. I get it. I lie because I said I get it. I don't get it. Worshipper of life. Young Israeli women were not virgins. Young Israelite women were virgins, not promiscuous.
So I'm not gonna.
Oh, damn it. I'm on the top chat again. God damn it.
Yeah.
You got to say it on a live chat or else you miss some of the ignorant. I mean,
I missed the good shit.
some of the shit. Yeah, the good shit, really.
I try not even to look in the chat when we're.
It's hard
here.
sometimes, ain't it?
Like, oh my
Darante.
goodness! Like,
Sometimes I get lost. I'll just be laughing at the chat when y'all
yes.
Right. I mean, there's one thing to consider, and that is really, to be honest, people are people. I don't care where you are. I want to say Deviant Outcast became a channel supporter. Thank you for that. And then earlier, let's see here. I did see Adam re-upped his channel membership. So thank you guys for that. Very much appreciate that.
Go on.
But teens, I mean, they are flooded with hormones and other things as their body develops. And it's difficult. I think it's just downright ignorant to say any /girls from this place. I think that's just ignorant. Look at Mary, for example. I mean, she had to end up lying and say God did it to keep Joseph from turning on her and stoning her to death with everybody else. Remember, at first he was going like, I don't believe this shit.
Man.
And then finally he's like, you know what? I bet she, go ahead.
I did that. I did a video a few months ago and one of the scriptures I highlighted is the parable about the 10 virgins, the wise and the foolish ones, and show like, okay, in this story, this is one guy who's getting all of these. He's supposed to get 10 of the girls. He doesn't get all 10 because 5 of them forget their oil, and the Bible calls them foolish for not getting to go with this one groom. And this is the story that Jesus is telling, which is either about sex trafficking or polygamy or both. That, you know, you don't really, there's no way around that. And the Christian tried to say, well, you're actually wrong. And this is the way his mind worked. He said, you're actually wrong because it doesn't say virgins, it says bridesmaids. And I was just like, oh, buddy, okay. I won't even engage that, because if I were, like, I'd have to explain to him, like, what do you think happened in this culture if you're a bridesmaid and you're not a virgin?
I know, 2 and 2 is so hard for some of these people. Hey, right? I want to say real quick, thank you, Deviant Outcast, for giving away the channel memberships. Very much appreciate you. Now you guys are going to put me to work if you keep giving away those channel memberships, because that'll give me.
A member now.
Ooh, look at that.
Is he a member? Did you become a member?
He got a gift.
I got a gift.
The gift of life.
I'll if you hear me.
I'll get to see with more memberships. I get more emoticons. I can make more emotes. I need to make some, you know, some for the pup in case any of you, you know, probably would like to have a pup, you know. So, a matter of fact, it's time for us to do Theocracy Watch. What we can do is let's do it with whoever gets there first. You know, Wild Bill, Ollie. If you do Ollie, doesn't mean the pup. Either Wild Bill or Goat. Put a goat out there. Whoever gets there first, we'll run that commercial. When we come back, we'll do the thing. So let's see. What do you guys want? And I've got more stuff coming. Ollie, I love the pup commercial. Okay, guys, here we go. We're going to do. All right, we'll be back in 2 minutes.
Flanagan!
Yes, sir. Very disturbing, I know.
Fetch me Father Flanagan.
Your Highness.
You are in the presence of His Holiness, the Puppius Maximus, guardian of the sacred fire hydrant, defender of the holy tennis ball, and eater of the golden kibble, Pup Oliver Puxalot the Fifth.
Your popedom. I heard you have a bone to pick with me.
Condoms, Father Flanagan?
No, thank you. I've got plenty.
That's what I mean. Why are you selling condoms?
Oh, you mean our Pharaoh Sombrero line of condoms. Understood.
You know how we feel about those around here.
Well, they're not to be used by the Catholics, of course.
Not for Catholics?
No, they're part of our Sinner Gonna Sin lack of faith outreach program.
A sinner gonna what?
It's like getting the tithe, but from the heretics and the heathens and the atheists.
Oh, well, when you put it like that.
But, Your Highness, this will reflect very poorly on the church.
True. You know what this means, Flanagan?
Warning label on the box, not for Catholics in big letters.
Too subtle.
Instant purgatory if used by Catholics.
I like it. Divine branding.
Excellent, your popedom. Will there be anything else?
That will be all. You may leave.
All right. That's one of my favorites. That was so much fun to make. That one and the goat scented flesh candle one, man, that was, I really love that one. Thank you again, Deviant Outcast, for all those memberships. We very much appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
My thing here. I lost my screen for some reason. I moved there. It's not supposed to be over there. It's supposed to be over there. What the hell is going on, man? Okay, so now, did you say Jesus? Is he here?
Jesus.
Oh, not here? Okay. Never mind. Thought he was behind me or something.
Think of him often and fondly. Just kidding. Not.
And fondly, like in a rated.
Yeah. Fondle. Fondles.
Right. Good morning, Philosophish. Thank you for joining us. Denny's is just a Waffle House. I think that's where he was going at. The chat moved very fast.
I want to.
Denny's is just Waffle House for people who can't fight. I like that.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to be disrespected by the servers.
Or at least can't do anything about it. Andrew Valinsky, good morning, of you. Any of you three dorks ever worked with epoxy pouring before?
I have a couple times, but only like little things.
No, I've never poured epoxy anything. I'm just a dork. That's all I do is dork. I'm a dork. Chris running cracks me up. Hey, for those of you who are familiar or who have seen it, in that movie, it's the movie Star Trek Beyond. No, it's the one with Cumberbatch where Scotty's running through the hangar. I use the voice of Scotty.
Is that Into the Darkness?
It is. Thank you for that. Into the Darkness. Yes. The voice of Scotty, he's running through the chat or running through this hangar, and he's like, and he actually pulls up his thing. He goes, "I'm running," but I didn't put that part in there.
That would have been. You should have. You might have got dinged though. Who knows?
I might have, but there is actually music in it. But my music and its music kind of overgo each other, so I think it kept it from disrespecting the music gods. Right-handed Sith, good morning. Right-handed Sith says, I do resin casting quite a lot as a hobby. That's fantastic.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I hope you mask up, boy.
There you go. Those brain cells you don't need. Shaking fist, Lieutenant Jedi.
Sniff that glue. Huff it.
Awesome.
Puff banana.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to do Theocracy Watch and see what kind of nonsense these religious nutbags are trying to impose upon us today. We're right on.
You're tuned into the Atheist Morning Show on the Damn Network. And this is Theocracy Watch.
For today.
If states' rights, due process, and citizenship matter, how do we explain deporting American children and arresting judges for protecting the law? Good morning, fellow skeptics. Welcome back to Theocracy Watch, where we track the slow shift from democracy toward autocratic rule, one courtroom at a time. Trump promised sweeping deportations, and now under his second administration, the federal government is moving like his personal lynch mob. This week, a federal court revealed that a 2-year-old U.S. citizen identified just as VML was deported to Honduras alongside her immigrant mother, and according to federal judge, without meaningful due process. Her mother, Jenny, had been attending routine ICE check-ins as part of a supervised release program. She and her 2 daughters were detained during one of those appointments in New Orleans. Her compliance didn't protect her. It made her a target. Meanwhile, someone acting on the father's behalf filed an emergency petition to stop the child's removal, but ICE moved faster than the court intentionally to deport them before any hearing could be held. In another case, a 4-year-old American child with stage 4 cancer was also deported and removed from her doctor's care and sent away without a care plan, basically sentencing her to die. These incidents, I know, it's so sad. I mean, she's not going to get the treatment she needs, right? These aren't isolated cases or mistakes. They come from a system where even citizenship can't protect you if the sitting megalomaniac president decides you're inconvenient. And those who try to intervene face retaliation. In Milwaukee, Judge Hannah Dugan was arrested by the FBI, accused of helping an undocumented immigrant avoid ICE inside her courtroom. A judge arrested for defending the integrity of due process. You can't serve the Constitution and serve Trump's agenda. The two are now in direct conflict. He is openly floating the idea of deporting Americans he deems as disloyal. And as we've discussed before, his legal team is preparing to revive the wartime act called the Alien Enemies Act to detain and deport without traditional hearings or due process, just by the label of enemy. It was meant for wartime, but Trump wants to apply it to immigrants and dissenters broadly. Since returning to office, Trump's administration has already deported an estimated 212,000 people and counting. As America slips further into authoritarian rule, it won't arrive with a beating drum or a warning. It moves slowly, targeting the vulnerable, the quiet, the powerless. The people most of the country won't notice until the day it's too late. They scream states' rights when banning abortion or books, but when a judge exercises her authority in her jurisdiction to protect due process, suddenly the federal government storms in, disrespecting state power and enforcing their agenda. How many rights have to be stripped away from others before we realize our own is next? If our freedom depends on blind obeisance, a democratic choice is already gone. Until next time, keep asking questions, and as always, stay curious.
Thank you for that.
Arresting judges.
Arresting judges. Well, all right. You know, there was somebody else who went after judges too.
Wonder who that was.
I'll tell you, since you probably can't guess. I'm going to do something here. What's this? I'm just checking something on my sound. Anyway, you're not going to believe this. Adolf Hitler. He went after judges. I know you. I knew you wouldn't believe it.
No,
you're just as stunned as I am.
Darante. He was like,
I know.
He clutched his pearls.
He did. Yep, he did. And then set off a smoke alarm again. So the question: did Hitler go after judges like Trump? Be brief. That was the only question. This is the response from the Chat GPT. Yes, Hitler targeted judges. After taking power, he purged the judiciary of those seen as disloyal, forcing judges to swear loyalty to him and replacing many with Nazis. Gee, courts became tools for enforcing Nazi ideology rather than independent bodies. Trump has attacked the judges verbally, especially ones who ruled against him, but has not purged or replaced the judiciary in a systematic way like Hitler did yet. It even says yet in there. One of the things I want to mention is that they've already started arresting judges, like Rion has mentioned, and they've openly threatened the other judges. They've talked about just removing and just completely removing the judgeship altogether. Mike Johnson openly talking about this in public. You can hardly argue that this is not a blatant attempt to overthrow our government and replace it with a fascist dictatorship. You know,
damn. There's
so many similarities between the Lügenpresse, the Lion Press.
Oh, is that what it's called?
That's what Hitler used to call them.
I see.
When they exposed his lies and also, the concentration camps that all those Jewish people died in, all of them, none of them were in Germany. They were all deported via trains, just like we're doing it now with planes, to another country where they could safely do it outside of their own laws.
Right.
So, well, thank you for that today. I mean, it kind of goes right along with the theme of the show. And Trump is only getting this power because he's catering to the Christians, both the Christian, just general, normal Christians, but the right-wing Christians, the MAGA Christians, the Catholics. Now they're going after the Catholics. I do think he made a mistake, though, whenever he went to Francis's funeral in a blue suit, despite everybody being told to show up in black. We know he's the douche. He wanted to stand out and didn't want to follow the rules and all the business. But that was very, very disrespectful. And I'm really, really hoping a lot of Catholics feel that disrespect.
And you remember when he did that to the queen? Like, you don't walk in front of the queen. She's the queen. She walks in front of you. And he was just like outright, like chugging along right in front of her. Like, my husband, because he's English and he doesn't care about the royalty whatsoever. But he was like, I'll tell you that's disrespectful. And I was like, ooh.
Man.
Ooh.
Andrew Valinsky says not all were outside of Germany. Many were, but Dachau was a template prison outside of Munich. Well, see, that's kind of the deal. We actually have our own versions of that, right? Would that be equivalent to Gitmo or some of the other intermediary prisons they have here in the United States? You know, the holding camps. I mean, it's just a matter of
could Alcatraz be considered like that too? I mean, I know it's not.
Not
remote.
So, well, it's yeah. Would it? You know, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. You know, they say that's not what's happening, but you know, those photographs of all that blood in the parking lot. That was not from what's happened since. We've discovered that was from last year, a couple of years ago. But to me, that just kind of proves that Trump found a prison where he could do that sort of thing, a place where he could get it.
If anything, that's just evidence that bad stuff happens there.
Yeah.
Yes, Obi Atheist says, look at what Pete Hegseth is doing at our Defense Department. He is destroying everything we have built over the past 100 years. He has killed the education and fired the high tech. You know what? They're absolutely undermining everything. They're doing what they can to undermine our country. I mean, we could just go on about it as far as how they removed all of our defenses from the cyber attack from Russia. All those departments have been removed. There's been reports, whistleblowers talking about how Elon Musk, after he goes into an apartment and gets all the information out of there, they give access to the servers to Russian IP addresses, whatever that is. I think that's kind of a small-minded thing, really, because, I mean, even you and I can do a VPN to claim our IP addresses from somewhere else. Surely the Russians wouldn't use our Russian IP addresses, but anyway. Gitmo is a U.S. area and subject to U.S. laws, but they rarely get enforced. That's kind of like the same point. We could call that our Dachau. You know, it's just I don't know.
Thank you, Andrew.
Andrew, Gitmo and Dachau were extradition. Yeah, okay. The camps weren't all killing camps from on day one. That's a good point too. That's kind of I gotta say that was one of the things that I went on in my brain. Whenever we kind of entered that thing, I was like, it's just a matter of what part of the war and what time as to how things were. In the beginning, they weren't, but later on they were. And it was really hard to go into all that, but I'm glad y'all were.
But I tell you what, like that is to the mass majority, that probably sounds like a logical thing. Yeah, let's build some camps for these people as we detain them. Yeah, they'll just be work camps. But then eventually, like, who knows where you can start to steer public opinion.
Yep.
Start reporting on, crazy things happening because of immigrants or these dissenters that hate, whatever they spin the narrative. Yikes.
Well, I think part of the reason why we had the fairness in media doctrine, if you're familiar with that one, I'm sure that's not the right name, but, they used to have this rule in journalism where you had to represent both sides and all that stuff. And then it was a legal thing. You couldn't have a Fox News like you have a Fox News now. But they came and got rid of that in 1992, I believe. And then Fox News was formed in 1994. All of this is part of this long game plan. But the reason why we had that is because of Goebbels. The propaganda machine of the Nazi propaganda machine lying to the people as examples. So there were rules made about lying and misinformation to the public by the journalists.
Wow.
Inadvertently, indirectly, directly. I mean, they set an example that we tried to not follow. But anyway.
How times have changed.
Times have changed. Yep. Rainbow Ash says, you guys, times are scary. Are we going to be okay? Yes, eventually, but not soon.
I'll protect you.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes. Well, there's just going to have to be some change, we'll just see. It's hard to say on a show like this. We're so limited in what we can say.
Right.
To be honest, to be fair, Darante will be like, let me tell you about my days with this group, and he'd be like, "Oh no, I don't want to talk about that. You don't talk about that shit." There's reasons. Trump is now sending people to Rwanda. It's less money than El Salvador. Wouldn't surprise me at all, but I'd want to make sure. But yeah, Henry Mars, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Let's take guesses on who's going to staff all these new manufacturing plants Trump is promising. Spoiler, there's only one option if the U.S. legitimately plans to compete with the global South. I mean, they're going to need a very poor, very broken workforce. Which part?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that would be the perfect way to ramp up production here in America is start, putting people.
It would literally be the only way.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
I mean, of course, I don't think that's smart, but that's what it's looking like. That looks like what it's heading for.
Yep.
I don't like to catastrophize. Sorry, guys, but
I gotta say though, if prisoners were forced to make iPhones, and that was their, that wouldn't be as bad as I would think where they would want to go with them. If that makes sense. Are we on the same? I don't think we're on the same.
No, I don't. I'm sorry, I didn't understand. I didn't understand.
So rather than deporting, or you could even deport them, but taking these prisoners, I thought that's what y'all were talking about, using them as a slave labor force to make our iPhones and our cheap shit, right? Well, if that's what you're saying,
taken overseas or somewhere else.
Well, it's better than being in a Dachau or end up in a gas chamber situation, which is where my mind, look, they've got blood on the out here, I mean, it literally, I see them being just removed. But where would they get that cheap labor force from? Well, if you destroy the American economy and make everybody freaking broke, before long, jobs are just going to be so hard to come by.
Yep.
That people are going to be in line looking to get the cheapest, shittiest job. So not only do you get the benefit of exporting and unaliving en masse people of color or whatever that you don't, or dissidents, as I think you called them in the thing, not just terrorists, but dissidents. And that's us, by the way.
Right.
It does get scary, but I fear it can't last forever.
Oh yeah, iPhones are already being. I know they're already being. The labor,
absolutely.
Oh my god, the materials. My gosh, I couldn't even think of the word. Yeah, but the materials, the way they're mined and stuff. I know it's horrible. I'm not upgrading my iPhone. I'm keeping it until I have no choice.
Yeah,
I used to re-up like I think it was almost every year, every 2 years. Like they had they really force them things on you.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
I was never an iPhone fan. Man, Apple.
I used to do Android. It was my thing, Android. Whenever I did IT for a living, Android. I had too many tools, wireless scanners and shit like that. But but when I stopped doing that, and I didn't need any of that stuff no more, and I wanted simple communications like being able to FaceTime with the wife, because at the time you couldn't do it between Android and iPhone, and she had iPhone. I went ahead and switched them. It's stupid easy. I got all my apps. I wouldn't go back now, but but then we never FaceTime. I mean, we may have done it twice in this, decade we've been together. Good morning, Sumami. Thank you for joining us, all you wonderful people. Tim Bigler, I've been applying for jobs for the. Oh shit! I just spilled coffee. I've been applying for jobs for the past 3 months, and I still haven't gotten one. I have interviews. I think they go great. They say we will set you up for a second interview. Never hear back. Yeah. The economy is not really in a position right now, I don't think. I don't even know what you do, but to be hiring people, it's not really in a hiring situation. Do you remember the economy was freaking roaring under sleepy Joe Biden? It was going fantastic. There's some things I didn't agree with about Joe. We could argue about the whole Gaza and Palestine thing. If you didn't like whatever Joe Biden and the Biden administration was doing, I understand it. It's nothing compared to what the Donald Trump administration is going to do to harm the people in Gaza. Biden, if anything, was protecting the people in Gaza. I know it sounds kind of weird.
Wait,
from
no,
the worst.
please don't say that. Please don't say that.
No. Let me finish the sentence.
It's not necessary to do
let
that.
me finish the sentence though. From the worst of America. He wasn't protecting them but by being who he was and what the left is, even though as weak as they are in that regard, by allowing the right to get in charge, that just made it so much worse. They're just the right is cheering as the brown people over there are getting unalived en masse. They hate Jews. They love Israel.
I know, it makes sense. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't.
Well, because of the end goal. The end goal is mass conformity, meaning regardless of your religion, you will be bowing to Jesus. So
that's kind of where they're going.
That's why they're cheering.
Yep.
And Brent says, no, Chris. And I'm not sure what about, but it's very possible I could be wrong on something. I do get exaggerated and excited about stuff. But let's see. The plan on creating the work camps was laid by the Supreme Court, making homelessness illegal. Mm-hmm. There you go. I mean, we got plenty of stupidly poor people, and we'll have more very soon. They've removed the work security from thousands of federal employees, hundreds of thousands of federal employees. Let's see. They're going to start garnishing wages from people, and they were also talking about rearranging the benefits package for federal employees too, removing. So now, if you've been there for a while, a lot of your benefits are protected,
like grandfathered in.
Yeah, but if you've only been there for like 5 years or 6 years or 10 years, you'll be getting less of the benefits that you thought you were going to get. They're just screwing everybody. But, rest assured, my friends, Donald Trump is spending millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars on golf just so he can golf.
Jeez, Ruth. I wish.
Yes. I think warehouse jobs are tough because of uncertainty and supply chains, tariffs related. I mean, no doubt, right? I mean, this guy came in and on a whim is just destroying our economy. He made this notion that all the remote workers got to go back to work. Really? At the local VA, there's 500 employees who suddenly have to show up back at work, and there's not enough parking for any of them, for all of them. There's not enough office space for them. There's not enough all these things. So now, instead of being functional and productive and working from home like they were, they're sitting in offices waiting for equipment. It's been a nightmare. These people are just doing nothing but hurting our country with every one of their little whims. Mm-hmm. Everyone. I can't bang on this one enough. How many millions did they waste just renaming the Gulf of America?
I don't even see how. I don't even get it. I would have quit. I'm like, I'm not doing that job. That's weird. I guess Americans will do anything for money. That's what happens when you live in a capitalist society. You will.
Oh yeah.
You don't have morals anymore. Money is the moral.
There was a reason why they didn't want to allow money in politics, and there was whenever that crack was made and Citizens United started dumping money into politics. It just started. It was a snowball. They got some money into politics. They started removing laws to prevent more money in politics, and it's just been from one thing to the other, really. And it's complex. I mean, we're casting such wide nets in such a fast conversation, but and the speed is the key. They've done this thing so fast. They've hit so many things. Now they're actually going after the funding for the Democratic Party. There's an official funding group or something. I don't know what it is. Act Blue. They're actually going after them to make it to where liberals cannot raise funds to do.
They're stifling our ability to be able to make moves. Now, granted, I think a lot of that money is just fucking into the ether. But we do have to fight fire with fire. So they're tying our hands behind our back.
Absolutely. And then we got people like I want to use this term loosely if you'll let me, the best of us, like AOC and Bernie, And I say that, you know, from our side of things as best as we get. But look at them. Are they backed by billionaire donors throwing lots and lots of coin? No. I mean, most of their shit is small money gathered from the people. You know, we just don't have the coin on our side. Even those people, you know, I would think people like Richard Branson. I would like to think Richard Branson. I don't know enough about him, but, you know, and there are other billionaires out there. That one Governor Pataki or whatever his name is from whichever state, he's a billionaire, big heavy guy. Well, you know, why aren't they backing these others financially? You know, how come he isn't throwing, you know, $500 million behind AOC or Bernie like Elon Musk did with Donald Trump? I have questions.
Me too.
Anyway, let me run us another little one of our commercials. I'll let the audience choose. You know, we already did goats, or the thing. We did. We can do the Pharaoh. We can do the ghost scented flesh candles. We got a new Wild Bill you can watch. Let me know what you guys want, and then whenever we come back from that, Altar Boys. Altar Boys, I'll give you Altar Boys, Deviant Outcast, because you're awesome. But Altar Boys is only 30 seconds. I can't really even get back to the coffee machine and back, let alone sit and pray to Jesus that I'll be funny for the next, you know, hour. So, you know, I'll give you Altar Boys, and by the time we get back from Altar Boys, give me something better we can do the commercial with. Okay, here we go. Is your humble parish tired of constant litigation? Drained by bloodthirsty lawyers sucking the collection plates dry? Well, no more threats of jail time and public humiliation. Try Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys. Cute little fellas, eyes and mouth wide with surprise, complete with lifelike tears. Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys, coming to a Walmart near you.
As of March, they already said they're $2 billion short.
Okay, so I'm catching back up. You were saying that the ISIS budget is $9 billion, over $9 billion, and they're already $2 billion over.
Yeah.
And it's only April. It's not quite May yet.
Right.
They're busy people. Here's the thing, man. I see these numbers in the billions being thrown around a lot, but it's do we not know how much a billion is? $1 billion is a shit ton of dollars. And it sure seems like $1 billion. Their budget is $9 billion. How much was Fox fined for trying to overthrow our democracy, for help lying to the people en masse?
How much was it?
How much they pay off? $750 million? $700 million? It's such a tiny, tiny fraction of an amount.
For them.
Yeah, to almost anybody, apparently. Nearly any group, you know? Kellogg's could pay that shit off. Taco Bell could pay that shit off and just move on. O'Reilly's Auto Parts could pay off $750 million and be probably just fine. You know what I mean? The insult of what they did to our nation, and figured $750 million would be enough without any criminal prosecutions. You know, I really think Fox should, whenever we get through this, at the other side of this Trump shit, and whenever he's overthrown and falls and we get our nation back, what's left of it, I think things like Fox News should be shut down, and those people who work for them, we should do what they're trying to do. We should actually go persecute the people who literally destroyed our throw them in prison. You know? Yes, looking at you, Brett Baer, looking at you, what's his name? Tucker Carlson, looking at you, any of those people who what's that? Tucker.
So I can't say that name. I'm just serious. Tucker.
Right.
You're right. Brent is so right. We're getting all started up today. Brent is right. He's like, if, Chris, not when. If. It only works if we do something. That's so true. That's true. It's just that's right. Totally agree. I agree. And I want to say a lot, but I can't. I'm going to run this other commercial. What did y'all decide on? Did y'all decide on? I'm going to just give you goats. Did we? Because there's just so much I want to say. I'm going to give you guys goats, ghost scented flesh candles, and we'll do the Pharaoh. Well, all right, we'll do the Pharaoh commercial at the end of the show. The Pharaoh's sombrero. Here's some goat.
Have you sued again? Oh, and it's bad this time. A chicken just won't do. But wait, You don't have a goat for your burnt offering. Oh no, the Lord's wrath is upon you.
Insignificant person whose name I don't know, you have sinned. Probably. I shall smite thee.
What do you do? You're all out of goats. She left you for another man.
Fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented flesh candles.
No goat? No problem. Just light one of these bad boys and let the sweet, savory scent of burning goat flesh rise up to the heavens.
Is that goat?
It's easy, it's fast, and deluxe models even have patented technology that produces a goat screaming sound as the wick burns.
Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented candles. Save a goat, burn a candle.
Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented flesh candles are part of our You Do You Jew interfaith outreach program.
When you sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. When the Lord requires that hundred smell, light a candle or you're going to hell.
Tariff prices.
And we are back again. I just barely made it. I got a coffee. Oh, I even forgot to put my coffee spoon back.
I'm on ghost mode. Let me come back.
He's on ghost mode. And I bring it back to Darante.
Magic.
Y'all see how did you see how I did that?
I did. You're very good.
Let's see if my button's gonna work. I think I fixed it. Let's go to scripture with Darante. All right.
Welcome back, folks. Today we're going straight to the end of the book. We're going to be in the book of Revelations at chapter 3, verses 15 through 16. It says, I know your deeds, and that you are neither cold nor hot. I wish you were either one or the other. So because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I'm about to spit you out of my mouth. Apparently, even God is not down for swallowing the kids. Hot. So let's stop right there. You've probably heard this verse misused 100 times. God doesn't want half-hearted people. Don't be a lazy Christian. Be on fire for Jesus. But that's not what Jesus says. He literally says, if you're not burning or freezing, I'll vomit you out. The actual Greek there is to vomit. He's not annoyed. He's not disappointed. He's sickened. He's disgusted. Jesus, meek, mild, come to me all who are weary, is now threatening rejection, disgust, and expulsion for people who simply aren't extreme enough. And let that settle in. Not bad people, not evil people, just people who didn't pick a side hard enough. People who didn't allow themselves to become radicalized. That's not grace. That's extremism. Cold or hot, nothing in between. It's the same all or nothing mentality you find in cults, warlords, and dictators. Total devotion or total rejection. And this is the same Jesus Christians claim loves the whole world. Apparently not if you're lukewarm. Apparently not if your passion isn't intense enough. Apparently not if you're still wrestling, doubting, or just trying to breathe. He doesn't say, let's talk about it. He doesn't say, I still love you. He says, you make me sick. So here's the takeaway. If your Savior says, be extreme or be expelled, maybe you're not in a covenant. Maybe you're in a cult with the crown. And that'll be all for today's scripture.
Ooh.
All right.
No fence riding. Is that what you're saying, Darante? Don't sit on the fence or you're going to be knocked out.
God prefers dick riding over fence riding. You got to ride the dick, not the fence. So.
Right?
I want that on the shirt now.
Right.
I mean.
Make a choice, do or die, Beatrice.
If it's not doing the to the prostate,
Beatrice.
then you don't want it. I understand.
Right?
Oh man!
I heard something about vomit.
He spit out of his mouth. Yeah.
Ew.
I'm gonna vomit you. The Greek is literally vomit. I'll vomit you out.
That's
Gag
so
reflex.
That's yucky. Disgusting.
Yeah.
Again, I like to just go back to that rhetoric that I like to put forth about how there's no problem solved in a reasonable manner by this creature in the Bible.
Yeah.
None. Every time it's ridiculous, it's horrific, monstrous, disgusting. Every time. Fun for the whole family. And this is the basic moral.
Oh, man.
Really. What they say, D? I see it over there.
Yeah, it was just funny. Somebody, the shaking fist has me cracking up because he was like, the center was too hot. The center was too cold. It's like a Goldilocks moment. Like it's funny.
You weren't just right. Not radical enough.
Exactly. And now, again, it brings us back to there's no way you can win. We've talked about how no matter which Christian, oh, thank you, Amber. Life goals, you can become God's vomit. Wow.
You too can become God's vomit.
You too. Follow me. But all right, we've talked about before. Thank you, Amber, for the $2 super chat. Much
I
appreciated.
want to achieve that.
Oh, man.
I want to be God's spit, not his swallow. I've never heard that before. Anyway, we've talked about, here's the deal. You've got this narrow view of the world, right? And there's all these Christians, and if you're not exactly right, if you're not the exact right kind of Christian, you don't get into heaven. Okay? We've talked about that many times. Which one? You're looking at a row of them in order to see which one is going to get you into heaven. All right, you found the right religion. Now, God has made it even harder. The bar is even higher because it's not just that you found the right one. You have to determine what is hot or cold enough for that religion. So you got to stay in this narrow little bar of temperature range that's already in this. There is no way any of you are ever getting to heaven. We're going to be right side by side, elbow and elbow in hell,
right? Burning.
You'll be over there screaming. I'll be like, is he screaming in F major? Yeah, no, that's C.
Ah!
Man.
There's lovely harmonies in hell.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. Dude, you're screaming out of pitch.
Get it right.
You're making it hell.
Oh, man.
Speaking of all that, for what it's worth, I have picked up the cello again.
Oh,
ooh, yay.
How's your Fagners?
They're doing all right. I'm doing all right. Yeah, I know. I'm getting along. Yes, I'm a clumsy person. Yesterday, I banged this hand on a wall. I can't even say I like punched a wall or none of that business. I was walking, swinging my arms like a big monkey, and when I ran around this corner, I hit my arm. And it's been a little on the swollen and tender. So I'm going to see what it feels like today if I can get the chance to play. But yes, if Jesus died to stop it, then he failed to end crime too. That's the whole deal. This whole Jesus didn't do anything. And the more I learn about Jesus, the more I know that he just can't do anything. What'd he do?
Yeah, it was a dishonest question that Worshiper of Life had asked, like, oh, why can't humans stop crime? Like, this is why I don't like engaging people like that, because like the idiocy of that is you believe in an all-powerful God who hasn't stopped crime, and yet you're asking why has humans not done it?
Why can't we? Right?
That's the question you should be asking your God, dumbass. Like, please leave me alone. Go somewhere.
Yeah. Well, there's another little logic thing that, like, if I know it may not seem similar, but like the way Eve was treated. Wait. Eve was ignorant, did not know right from wrong. She was raised, she's born right there in this freaking garden naked, had no idea what was going on. Here comes the presumably educated, informed, and knowing serpent. And yet Eve is punished because she couldn't outwit this creature. She didn't know right from wrong until she ate from the tree.
Yep.
Right? So, and yet they justify their punishment on Eve by this circular nonsense that somehow she was supposed to outwit this serpent.
Right. But if everything's created by God, then God created sin. So he created an imperfect world where there was no chance that they would ever, as you said, you can't get it right now. They couldn't get it right then. There was no
never gonna get it.
Perfect reality. So weird. Like none of it fit. Like none of it's logical.
Right.
Like it all breaks down.
I mean, ultimately,
Almost.
what Christians worship is failure. They are worshipers of failure.
Hardcore. Balls deep worshipers of failure.
Balls deep in failure. Our savior's a failure.
Right?
Damn. It's all failure.
It's failure all the way down, man.
Yep.
Good morning, Native Atheist. Native Atheist says they couldn't handle Lilith.
Oh, no.
So, yeah. Now that one, I'm a fan of Lilith. I'm a Lilith fan.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
It's a shame she wasn't in the Bible. That would have been really cool.
Yeah. Men were not fans of Lilith. And like,
Well, there's this whole control thing they have going on. Let me refresh our poll. I want to see what our poll
Sounds
has
familiar,
to do.
oddly familiar to modern day life.
Yes. Yes.
Methinks me sees a pattern.
Yes.
If there's anything that I cry about, it's thinking about for how long we've been trapped into this, into these belief systems. Like thinking like literally less than 100 years ago in this country, it was okay to assault your wife because of biblical reasons, you know? And it's just like, that's terrifying. Like, that's just like, wow.
Because we're one step away from just going back there. As long as this book is so prominent in people's lives, a moral authority, we're just one step away at all times. Even if we come out of this, you know, whatever the fuck Trump's got going on stronger, which we will, there could be that day where, again, we just slip right the fuck back into it, man.
Yep.
We got to burn all of them.
Yep.
I didn't say it. I didn't say that.
No. Yeah, I know what you meant, Phil. Well, yes, we know what you meant because you can't say those things on the channel. Lilith evolved into worshiper of life. So Lilith evolved into Jezebel.
Jezebel's my aunt. Watch your mouth.
So he believes in evolution now.
It's interesting.
I mean, if she did, I mean, that's kind of cool. I love Lilith. I love Jezebel. So
I ain't mad at it.
I'm mad at it.
Yeah.
That's a better story than what made it in the Bible.
Right?
Ain't that the damn truth? Certainly a better story than Twilight.
Yeah.
Scott, is Scott here? Let's see. Oh, Scott, that's Scott. The shaking fist. I mean, women only got the right to divorce without their husband's consent like 10 years ago or something like that in the UK. Man, I tell you, that's something we've talked about that they're going after no fault divorce. No fault divorce is what freed so many women.
It freed me
they
too.
talk
Blessed be. Hallelujah.
There you go. That too. But this whole notion of before that, women couldn't get divorced, so men could be just as shitty to them. Therefore, before no fault divorce, you had this high suicide rate among women.
Yeah.
Now, after no fault divorce, you have the fall of what we consider modern marriage and where divorces are happening all the time and all that. Yeah, because women are not putting up with that shit anymore. And this whole getting no fault divorce removed, that's just a form of control.
It is.
I just can't. Let me just search to make sure I didn't dilute that. Is that a word? Did I dilute that into my brain? Did I hallucinate that they were thinking about it?
No, it does sound familiar, as if I have heard that. Sadly,
wouldn't surprise me.
No.
Man.
You always got to tell this chat shit to be brief, otherwise it'll fucking kill you with words.
Oh my lord.
Oh yeah, it'll do that.
Don't smoke weed on the stream, Chris.
Like, oh, we like
not.
I was like, okay.
No, we're not normally. They're like, oh, Chris has a blue pipe.
All right, I got 2 bowls. I got some blunts. I got like, hey, this. Lock and load. I got a vape pen.
Let me check this out. Recent development. All right, so the question was, is there talk of getting rid of no fault divorce in the U.S.? Check recent stuff and be brief. The response is yes, there is ongoing discussion among some conservative lawmakers in the U.S. about repealing or restricting no-fault divorce laws. These laws, which allow couples to divorce without proving wrongdoing, have been in place across all 50 states for over 50 years, since the 70s. I think it was, recent developments, state-level initiatives in states like Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Louisiana. Republican lawmakers have introduced bills aiming to limit or eliminate no-fault divorce. For instance, in 2024, Oklahoma Senator Dusty Devers proposed legislation to prohibit no-fault divorce in the state. It goes on. Political party platforms, the Republican Party platform in Texas and Nebraska, have called for the repeal of no-fault divorce laws, advocating for a return to a more traditional marriage structure.
There we go. There's those violent words. Traditional.
And finally, Project 2025. While not explicitly calling for the end of no-fault divorce, some organizations affiliated with Project 2025, a conservative policy initiative, have criticized the concept, suggesting it undermines family values.
See, oh my Lord. Oh my God.
Yep. This even has a PBS NewsHour video about it. No wonder why they hate PBS. Some conservative lawmakers want to end no-fault divorce. And again, that is just the oppression of women right there, for using religion to oppress women. How many men out there have watched that woman that they've abused and controlled and manipulated, just watch them slip away because they were able to get a divorce?
Yep.
Right-handed Sith, there's always the total recall divorce. I'm not really sure what that's. I think I know.
I'm just thinking about, is there a divorce scene in Total Recall?
I don't know.
With a bullet.
Is that what it is? In my head, I was thinking, I just hope we do the Uno reverse, man, until they get it through their heads.
Yeah.
Or get a bullet.
Well, I gotta say though, oftentimes it can be a freedom for both men and women. It's not that women are abusive or anything. It's just, I want to say, I would like to think that sometimes people just get with other people that just ain't right for them.
Oh yeah.
And being stuck and forced with someone who just ain't right for you on long terms can just drive you fucking crazy. Look at us. We're already smoking weed and cussing on the channel. Dogs and cats are going to be sleeping together.
So what would happen? So basically the other party would have to say, okay, it is my fault to get out of to marriage. Somebody would have to say, oh, it is my fault. I did wrong.
Well, the one who wants the divorce would have to prove that you did wrong somehow.
That's what I'm saying.
You could admit it.
I did wrong. I want a divorce.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if they'd give you a divorce for that. They might give a man a divorce for that. I don't know. But if it were that easy, I have to say that would have been a loophole. I'm sure women would have found the way around before the 70s, whenever they made no-fault divorces.
I wonder.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like what?
But there was
what the law specifically says.
Yeah. And I would guess by doing that, though, you give away any rights or claims. Like if you go, okay, I'll take the fault for it, right? I'll say I was infidelis. I had an affair, and now you lose your children.
Yep.
To this abusive man.
If you had kids, you wouldn't be.
If you had, right? I mean, there's so many traps. Yeah. Anyway, long story and a tough conversation. Having children in a loveless marriage is child abuse. Guess Jesus loves child abuse.
Yep.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Good point.
I'm into that.
And religious people will try to guilt you into staying married. And that's like, I remember when I was going through my divorce, I called my mentor and I was like, hey, I think it's that time. Like, we're gonna have to divorce. And he was like, I don't think God gives you permission to get divorced. And I was like, oh, God don't live here, so he don't get to make that choice. So,
he is not stuck in this house with that bitch 7 days a week, listening to her nag.
Like, hey, you want to come here and do something about her, then fine. But but other than that, like, no. And but I had to fight for. It was damn near 7 years for me to get custody of my kids.
Wow.
And it was mainly because it was no fault. I was in the better position, but it was still you left the marriage. And I'm like, but I didn't cheat. I didn't do anything wrong.
That shouldn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Like, kids should never be a pawn. Now, if somebody's a dangerous person, that's something
that's different.
Completely different. But that you stepping out, like, no, I think that just shows how disrespectful you are to people. But the kids will see that one day.
Yes.
Yeah. And we are casting wide nets, wide nets, because like Obi Atheist says, Chris, he's a male, I believe. I'm divorced twice. There are traps on both sides.
Yes.
Indeed. There are men who get stuck in paying child support forever, who are the better parent, who would be better for the child, but women usually default I don't know, to be honest. I can't really speak to it. All I know is I ended up paying child support forever.
Yep.
That was that in our case was our choice.
Yeah.
Me and the ex's choice. That was our thing. But in a lot of cases, it's not. And a lot of men don't have a lot of choice in the matter. It doesn't matter, But again, really throwing wide nets here, no fault divorce helps everybody because you can go case by case and determine whether or not, it's got to be something dynamic. This whole, you have to prove he abused you or he did something to you or she did something to you. And all they have to do is say, no.
Yeah.
I did.
That's so weird. It's like, I didn't have to ask your permission to get in this marriage. Why do I need your permission to get out of this marriage? That is so odd.
And a lot of it is over property. They put trackers on the woman's car because they want to prove that she's cheating on him so he can divorce her without giving away half his money or property. This is such a complicated thing. I would let 1,000 of those guys who do that get away with that sort of thing if it saves one woman from being beaten to death by a husband she couldn't get away from.
Right.
Yep. I know it's a complicated thing. I may be thinking wrong, but I think you guys feel me. It was worth it.
Yeah.
The abuse of that system where people just go get married and willy-nilly flaunt the law of the Lord and just get divorced and flaunt the married again and divorce. If that happens, it's so
honestly, who really does that? Like, who does that?
Right. It's the same argument against abortion. Women just want to go have abortions. They just want to have sex.
Exactly. It's
like that's what they sit around doing. Yeah.
Honestly, marriage is all about. Yeah, it is. Yes. And marriage is honestly is more economics than anything else. And so once we have a place where we have a society where people are actually taken care of, then it's not even an issue anymore. Marriage is a survival strategy. Right?
Yeah. Get married for the insurance and things of that nature.
Yes.
That is stupid true.
I don't blame them.
Right.
I really feel the lucky ones are the ones who find that person. And I'm not talking about some mythical, blah, blah, blah. I'm just talking about somebody who's going through life. Whether you find financial security, whether you find insurance or whatever, if you find the right person, what you're going to find is yourself not being alone in the cold when it's late in life. You know what I mean? That's the thing, is to not be alone, to find somebody to travel through life with you. Right now, where so many of us are forced into situations and we never get to find that person that's good for us because of these cultural and religious bullshit things.
Absolutely.
Looking at you, no fault. How could they even be?
I don't know. See, this is where I'm like, women, y'all gotta stop handing over your freaking autonomy.
That's right.
These dudes, they don't have your best interest at heart. They just want you under their thumb.
That's right.
That's right. The way, I don't understand. There's got to be some way to reach these women on the right. I hope the frick so. I hope so somehow.
Maybe
all right, I'm going to run us.
Somebody will rise up out of the ashes. Maybe there'll be some influencer who will
rise up.
Maybe.
That's who they'll listen to.
Maybe. Not soon enough, but maybe. I'm rooting for them whenever they show up. Taylor Swift, girl. Whoever it is, get up there. I mean, shit. If she could do it, I'd be like, hats off to you, sister. Please just go.
I'm telling you,
honestly, Beyonce. If you got here, take the reins. You go ahead. They would listen.
There you go.
Singing.
Hell yeah. Or Michelle Obama. I'd so vote for her.
Or even better.
Oh, yeah.
Even better.
Hell, Barack Obama. Why not, right? A third round. Why not? They're talking about doing it with Trump, two in the pink, one in the nose. But I got to be honest, we could probably even go back to the original Daily Atheist Morning Show 5-6 years ago and get clips of me talking about how he would do this.
Oh dear. Yeah, I bet you could.
He would go, yeah, about how 2 would not be enough. If he got a second election, he would not step away.
Yeah.
And Trump 2028 hats are already available for sale.
Ooh, are they really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from the White House. Literally, Donald Trump is selling Trump 2028 White House. Wow.
Why do I feel like that's just not legal to do, bro?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say no.
I'm shook, man.
I'm
shook.
You can actually find images of Hitler showing off Volkswagens and Donald Trump showing off Teslas.
Ooh.
Fascism is business and politics wrapped together to oppress the people for profit. It's just kind of a, and there's no limit to the hate it will go through.
Put people in automatic driving cars, the doors locked, they take them to the destination, no hands. Really?
Yikes.
Right. No trains needed.
Right.
No trains needed. Right.
Right.
Well, I got
ready to go.
I got to be honest. That was one of the nagging little thoughts in my brain about driving a Tesla, because it knows where you go. It listens to what you say. If you're even if you have your hand on the wheel, but you're looking at your phone, it'll pop up a message going, "Please pay attention to the road."
Yeah.
It's watching you.
Oh.
And it's gone from originally, whenever I first started getting my Tesla, I was like, okay, so they're going to know I picked my nose on the way to the thing. I don't give a shit, right? What do I care? But now Elon Musk could literally have a computer program analyze what we say in our car and tell them who is a conservative, who is a liberal, who's planning to do what. Oh, sure, me and this person over here did this, but in the car on the way home, I told the wife this, and the car was listening because it's freaking by Elon Musk.
And if he's your enemy, like, he could just be listening in your car.
Yes. And this is the same Elon Musk who made it to where the cars, the reports of how far these cars would go were lies. They lied about that.
I heard about that. They're estimating. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it goes on. Let me, if I will. Not only, what I'm saying is they said the car will go 250 miles on a full charge. Right. The car goes 210 miles tops on a full charge. Right. That was their whole deal. Then they even went and had an entire department. They hired a department at Tesla whose whole job was to know that was what was the deal, and that whenever customers would call in and complain, they would be sent to this department who would blow them off and put them off and tell them they were wrong and go through all these things. There was just a department, a runaround department literally created to take care of those people who were complaining that their cars didn't go as far as they were told they were going to go. Then we've got what you're talking now, where they're actually, because there's so many recalls and so many repairs and so many things that Tesla's having to pay for. What they're doing is they're making it now to where the odometers don't read correctly. So if you drive 100 miles, it says you drove 150 miles. That way you get out of your warranty faster. Mm-hmm. This is Elon Musk. So if you're a right winger out there and you're loving Elon Musk, this is the same guy who has done this. You don't have these kind of problems with Ford, with any of these other companies. You had a problem with Volkswagen where there's actually just a couple of people, and their whole deal was to make it to where you could pass emissions, and it cost Volkswagen billions of dollars. They ended up buying a whole car back from us for it.
Man.
Not Elon Musk, not Tesla.
Lawsuit, right? I'm hoping this becomes a huge class action.
Me too.
I would
class action lawsuit. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting for, because I bought 2 of them. And, I thought I was doing good when I bought my Teslas. Their value was going up. The price was going up, all that stuff. I was learning things about the Teslas as I was going on. And we got the Teslas. I think it was the first year they did them without radar, because they're going to depend on their new fancy vision, just camera vision. It wasn't new fancy. It was the same camera vision they had already been using. They just saved money by removing the radar off the cars. It was the most expensive year they ever sold with the least equipment that they ever produced with. This is Elon Musk, man. If I'd have known what I know about him and all them then, My goodness.
Ooh,
So
shitey.
there we go. Did we already? We didn't play. Is it time? I think
because
it's
we
time.
got sidetracked.
We got sidetracked. So I'm gonna do the It's time for the Pharaoh's sombrero commercial, right? Is that what we're doing now? I think we already did. Yeah, we did the goats. It's time for the Pharaoh. Here we go. We're gonna do the Pharaoh. I'm gonna fill up my coffee and breathe for a moment.
Red Solo Cup.
Red Solo Cup. I push the button, no button, nothing happens. Make it.
Mi burrito es tan bueno. It burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. El ataco fue no bueno. It stings like a bee. They told me she was his sister. Now I'm plagued between the knees. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse. There's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno. A full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está no bueno. It burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno. A full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está no bueno. It burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs.
Okay, in 3, 2, here we go. I tried to get it. I tried to warn you in time. We need to. You use OBS. We need to hook you up.
Ghost mode.
Ghost mode.
Ghost
Willow
mode.
Dog.
I
Good
got
morning.
it.
Thank you for joining us. Let's go here and see. KCA Randy showed up here talking about the fallacy phallus, riding the fallacy.
Whoa.
Huh. That's a fallacy.
Wait,
Every creation
that
begins with
girl
a
I
thought.
see,
Thoughts are
no, it's
words.
just a fallacy.
You know, I want to. So,
man.
worshiper of
Yeah,
life says every creation.
That's how they think.
That's how they think. Yeah, every creation begins with a thought. Thoughts are words. So animals don't have thoughts. Do animals think in words? Huh. That's interesting. So there's no creation from animals. I don't think you apply enough actual rigorous logic to any of the things you say in the chat.
No.
You've noticed that too, huh?
Man.
Mark Reed, good morning. Secular Philanist. Thoughts are words. Giles says, I think Ryan. Yes. Yeah. Farts and interpretive dance.
Yes.
Thank you, James Corletta. It says hilarious video commercial. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's what I do. It's apparently all I can do. Crows thinking peanuts. See, Sumami, I'm down for that. Let's see here. Secular feelingness. It looks like all you wonderful people are here. Scott, it's a good thing most of my thoughts don't manifest. Yeah, I know, man. If I can just imagine, like Darante, if his thoughts were like manifested, it would be an X-rated stream, mini X's. Huh?
I think, man, if my thoughts were manifested, I'd be the emperor of the galaxy.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
Emperor of the Galaxy.
I'm an audacious somebody.
What do you do as Emperor of the Galaxy, though?
You travel a lot, visit places, check on people, kiss the babies, meet new aliens.
Make new babies.
Right?
You got to spread your seed around if you're the emperor. Unless you're a mule, you don't want to do that.
I think in images, Axel. That's like I think in images, which actually it made math really a struggle for me in school because I can't really see numbers as numbers, and so like I can't do that mental math the way some people do because I think in images, and so like seeing like a 1 and a 2, like it just doesn't work in my head that way. It's just gonna be like it's gonna be some pictures and shit. But once I realized that, then I was like, oh, okay, so now I see what's going on. Now I see why this isn't as intuitive for me as it seems to be for some other people, and I was able to work around it.
There you go. Cool. Maybe it was a feature, not a bug.
All right. Yes, absolutely. I love it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Brent A, images to a little. Yeah. I kind of do both, really. It was, I think a lot in words. I hear my own voice a lot. But whenever I want to figure something out, I'll stop, like my camera, for example. I'll stop and I can, like you see in movies where you take it apart and I kind of do that in my head with images.
Yeah.
But it's like on call when I need to. I don't sit around all the time thinking like that. It's
right.
I shift gears from thought process to thought process, from what I'm doing to what I need to do. When I'm writing, obviously I don't really think like that. Sometimes I'll be sitting here and thinking about, I got to make a video. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. I got to do that. I want to get this out. I want to get that out. I got to make that list. And it's a lot like shuffling boxes, right?
Yeah.
Stacking boxes. You're stacking these things and making plans, and you're stacking them. And then once you got them all in this right plan, you're like, okay, everything. And then my problem is I can't remember the shit long enough to.
I wanted to call out Deviant Outcast comment real quick because he mentioned the Egyptian artisan god Ptah. And the funny thing about that is that's my alter ego. Ptah is my alter ego because he's a crafter god par excellence. And that's one of those things that I use to help me craft my imagination, because I can walk into an empty space and just see anything in there and see amazing things. And it used to piss me off when other people couldn't, because I just thought they were being lazy. Like, why can't you see that? Like, we could do this, we could do this, we could do this. And then I finally realized, like, no, it's a different thing, man. We're not neurotypical. Everybody thinks differently. People see things differently in their minds. And then I begin to appreciate it more about myself. And that's you realize sometimes when you're angry at other people, it's because you don't realize how amazing you are. And so you're expecting everybody else to have this thing that actually makes you special, and you're not even seeing how special and wonderful it makes you.
You're not seeing your own features.
That's right. That's it.
That's a great that's great. That's a great way of seeing it. Preach, D. I want to say thank you to Secular Feelings. Why do melons have weddings? They can't elope.
I love that.
$5 super chat.
Thank you.
Yes, seeing the brave little toaster. Oh shoot, things are going wrong here. Miss Non Sequitur. Oh, I was going to read that. Oh, seeing the brave little toaster as a kid has left me anthropomorphizing all animals and inanimate objects. That's an interesting thought, and now here's the deal. So it's interesting. I find it interesting that like you said, my functions in the brain are not everybody can do that. Not everybody does the little thing where they take the things apart when they need to, know. What really got me though, because that's kind of okay, I get that. That's a little, I can see how, 50% of the people are under 100, if you know what I mean. But anyway, what really got me was recently, I want to say like 10, 15 years ago, I heard and or learned that there are some people probably here in the chat who don't even have a voice in their head.
I know, isn't that weird?
Yes.
And I don't get how you get through without that voice in your head, how you work shit out without, you know, are they lying? I don't know.
My husband is different like that. He doesn't really have, like if he gets upset or frustrated, he says that's when he kind of feels like he can like talk to himself or hear himself, I guess you could say. But otherwise and I'm like, it's just an empty head. Like I don't understand.
Yeah, like what's, how does that work?
Sometimes it's too busy in there and I struggle to get the words out because there's just so many words and too many things I'm seeing at one time. I'm like, how would silence feel? I couldn't even imagine what that stillness or calmness could feel like. The peace.
Well, I know, like before I started smoking, I know, like I was depressed all the time because it was so many voices, and like, and I couldn't turn it off. I couldn't process. I couldn't navigate. But I know when I started smoking, it helped me kind of like compartmentalize better what was going on up there.
Me too. So many voices. So I couldn't focus. I couldn't. Yeah. There was just so many thoughts that would rabbit.
Yep.
Or I would get bored. Oh my God, so bored. I'd be so bored. Nothing could entertain me. Nothing I would do. Mostly nothing I could do would entertain me.
There's that one.
But you know what I mean? I mean, it's like, oh my God, I got to do something, you know? And I'm like, you've got this you could do. Oh no, that's boring. I don't want to do that. You can go do this. No. You know, it's one or the other. I'm screwed. Sounds like ADHD, says cryptic peptide.
Oh man.
I feel personally called out by that statement. Right? You know, Zombie God says mental illness is hell. I don't really see it as a mental illness. I'm just upon the spectrum. This is my shade. That's the shade I am on the spectrum.
That's it.
You know?
That's it.
There are things about that shade I'd like to alter sometimes, like a filter. You know, that's why I take antidepressants, right? Because there's some aspects of my shade that I can't really deal with. But
yeah, same.
You know, that's I'm a weirdo. I'm going to say thank you real quick to all of you who have given to the channel. And I'm going to read our fan funding for the day and wrap up our show. Wow, lots of wonderful people. Lisa M, welcome to, it's not Lisa. It's actually a holdover from yesterday. Miss Lissa M. It's a channel member. Adam has been a channel member for 2 months. Thank you, Adam. Hey. Deviant Outcast became a channel supporter. And then Deviant Outcast gifted 5 memberships to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate that. Ember gave $2 and said, life goals, you too can become God's vomit. Right? Thank you for that. It's a spit or swallow kind of situation. Interesting. You know, they have medication to keep you from getting nauseous. Maybe God should look into that. And then Secular Villainous for $5 said, why do melons have weddings? They can't elope. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you all. I'm going to run probably like our Wild Bill for the people. I'll let you guys go. And Darante, thank you for joining us this morning once again. Ryan, you're wonderful. I appreciate you. See you tomorrow. Send safely, my friends.
Bye.
Yay.
Right. And let's go Wild Bill. Hello, and welcome to Shakespeare with a Redneck. Finally. I'm Wild Bill Wigglestick, and this is my trusty sidekick, Willie the Kid. And we'll be your handsome hosts, your gilded guide, your cowboys, concierges to Shakespeare. Oh, how cute. Wait, is that at 2, Ollie? Run along, little doggy. Bill, where the hell have you been? Well, you know, I've been roaming the earth, going back and forth upon it, to and fro and whatnot. I like to travel too. Wait a second. Yep, back and forth upon earth, doing unto others before they do unto me. Bill, are you quoting the Bible? Trying to quote the Bible? Indeed I am. Despite my appearance, I am a man of culture and know many things, not just Shakespeare. Really? So you have a Shakespeare monologue related to atheism or skepticism? Indeed I do. Bear witness. Oh, this is going to be good. This is the excellent foppery of the world.
that when we are sick in fortune, often the product of our own behavior, we make guilty of our disasters the sun, the moon, and stars, as if we were villains on necessity, fools by heavenly compulsion, knaves, thieves, and treacherous by spherical predominance, drunkards, liars, and adulterers by an enforced obedience of planetary influence. And all that we are evil in by a divine thrusting on. An admirable evasion of whore master man to lay his goatish disposition to the charge of a star. My father compounded with my mother under the dragon's tail, and my nativity was under Ursa Major, so that it follows I am rough and lecherous. I should have been that I am had the maidenliest star in the firmament twinkled on my bastardizing.
Wow, that really is spot on about what we cover here on the channel about how, people. So here's a quick rundown of the situation. Bill, this non-believer, ignores the teachings of his learned father and ends up getting 4 people killed. Bill, that's not. Okay. Carry on. Shakespeare was a heathenistic non-believer bound for the fiery pits of hell, just like yourselves. I don't think. And in order to throw the murderous church of the time off his heathen trail, he writes the skeptic as a sneaking, lying, adulterated father and brother, hating and betraying villain who ends up getting his comeuppance in the end. Bill, oh, come on, man. You're always blah, blah, Bible stuff, blah, blah, boring. You got to spice things up. Bill, tacos are spicy. Everybody loves tacos. Bill, tacos and boobies. Okay, you're not wrong there either. Tasty and delicious culture, baby, coming at you. Avoid the storm of familial discontent. Blow winds and clap your cheeks by clicking that subscribe button and hitting that. Wait a second. Don't you mean crack your cheeks? Nope. Bill. Send safely, my friends. Take care.
Peace.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booth, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goat's the scent that leads the way. Slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find redeeming grace. From your living room to the kitchen sink, light the goat candle, don't even think.